Hello and welcome, I'm Sonicguru and this is Life as a Game, a first impressions video series of all the games I've never played before. This time, it's Horizon Zero Dawn for the PlayStation 4. I have some trepidations when it comes to playing games that are highly praised. I usually stay clear of them and pick it up on a whim much later down the line. Horizon Zero Dawn got a lot of praise. It's this kind of... But unlike, say, Bioshock, where I immediately regret the time it actually took for me to actually get it, Horizon starts slow. It's hard to actually get invested within just the first hour, which is usually the cutting off point. The first hour has to grip you in and take you for the ride, and afterwards you are free to play as much as you like and keep you coming back for more. Horizon doesn't do that. Horizon doesn't let you explore as much. It is heavily story focused, don't get me wrong, and I like the story. What I'm trying to get is the first hour is not enough. You, like with other games such as the Assassin's Creed series or maybe Grand Theft Auto, Red Dead, other open world games, the immediate comparison I can think of right now is Assassin's Creed 3. Because it has the same kind of hunting scenario. A lot of people compare it to Breath of the Wild, but Breath of the Wild barely had a tutorial in a sense. It's like, here's an open world kind of scenario. Do what the hell you like. Here's some tips on how to beat it. Horizon has the unfortunate trope of the tutorial where you follow someone to an area for a setup, for an encounter that's set up for you and that you are guaranteed to win, just to teach you a few of the controls. Which, granted, does help, and within the context of the game, it actually makes sense, but it takes forever to get there. Because you're a little girl. Aloy is a little girl. As far as the story goes, I guess the actual character is focused on the character of Aloy. It's all about her, but we don't know why, because she's an outcast, and no one will tell her why she's an outcast or why she's motherless. It's just her existence is just an anomaly to these tribes of people, as well as the adopted father who is an outcast, and it seems like very. I guess it's kind of like Native Americans or kind of World of Warcraft, like kind of Horde and the Alliance is. I'm thinking also Far Cry Primal as well, with all its tribes. It's hard to actually put into words the story because it's focused mainly on her, but yet I want to know about the world because the world itself is the future. Because there are caverns of just metallic hallways and mummified remains of people who apparently took their own lives to ease the pain of living, like they were all majorly depressed or something. There's a lot of mystery about the world and why the fact that it's not just man and animal, fauna, but it's also machines that communicate with each other, but also live for so long to a point where we've regressed back to cave people, but the machines have been self-replicating. I don't know, the actual world itself is more interesting than the character, even though the character is the focal point of the entire game. But I guess beyond the first hour, we actually would know more about her as well as the world and what it came to be. Going back to the tutorial, I just rightly talked about entirely the story of the first hour. Is you are a little girl, and you haven't been given the tools like every other open world game. You have the tools. You have everything with you at that point. Maybe not the most powerful you can be compared to the end of the game, but you have a sword, you have a shield. Right, what do? Apparently I know how to use them, but I don't know. What are the buttons? Is it push forward to go? What's going on? So, but in this context, you are a little girl who does not know how to hunt, and you just run around. So you learn how to use a bow, you learn how to use stealth. This gadget you pick up is able, which in context, it works better in context of the game because it tells you where the weak points are on these machines, their actual predetermined paths, which granted is a bit cheating because I want to actually study the paths themselves. Like, we've come so far, it's like, oh, this enemy goes around this certain path. We have to watch them like go around it 5 times to make sure we know it. No, this game just flat out shows you their freaking path. So, thank you for the past 20 years of gaming knowledge to get undone. But the actual device itself works. This little triangle device, it works in context better than Bulletstorm's device. Basically, oh hey, I'm giving you points based how you kill people. It's kind of just woven into the plot for no reason. This one makes sense. It's part of the old world, as it were, kind of the present or kind of near future compared to what they are now is a distant future. Like, she learns the weak points or what they are, what they give. It definitely makes sense in context. Not to mention it helps her track stuff, so that's also cheating. Basically, everyone's just learned how to track stuff, and it's just like, oh, it's over there, kind of migrates in this area. You know, basically, I just Googled it. It's the evolution of the Google glasses, you know? Eventually she grows up into the Aloy we all know. And I will say as well, I'm glad she doesn't look as attractive as they could have possibly made her. Because they've taken the Alex Vance route where she looks normal, you know? Like any human being. Unlike Trish or Lady from Devil May Cry, where it's just overly sexualized. Don't get me wrong, I like Trish and Lady from DMC. But they are sex symbols. You know, you guarantee you show a picture of it to someone, they're gonna get off to it or whatever. But she looks like a normal human being, or what would like if they were a tribeswoman. So I like that. I like the design of her. I like the design of the character Rost, especially when from a little girl to a teenage girl, as it were, or a young woman, depending. I'm not too sure how many years have gone by. Probably 16 or 18 by now. His hair grayed and gets a lot more wrinkles on his face. So instead of just like, oh yeah, this character's much older, but this character's done fuck all to age. Yeah, it's kind of a like the Uncanny Valley effect compared to Fable, which also tried the aging thing. Your best friend is still in the mid-20s, but you've got wrinkles, grey hair, and got horns sticking out of your head. I'm going about other games that are trying to do the same kind of scenario, but eventually after the tutorial, I managed to get to actually hunt down like it had, and also another trope. I hate it, but at the same time, kind of makes sense. Is the markers. You'll have a radar at the top. You have markers like, oh, that's over there. We got here are some icons showing you that's some robots you just pissed off because you tried shooting an arrow up the backside. The watches. Also, he doesn't track live animals though. Like, I saw it come across the turkey and it's like, oh, I'll just fucking shoot that for food. Which will piss my wife off because she likes animals. Sorry, but hey, I had to get the food. But unlike Zelda, I'm not too sure if the food is necessary yet. I assume it will be. So, yeah. Not mentioning you have a trading system. You can, like Assassin's Creed 3, in fact, a lot of Assassin's Creeds, you can loot the bodies of the machines, as well as the live animals you killed, to get a bunch of parts you can use to craft new arrows for your bow, or trade them for new stuff. It's kind of odd to actually have futuristic weaponry in a sense, but in a ancient setting. It makes sense because this is a future that was decimated by our own hubris and the machines. But the machines' AI is still going, and again, we've regressed back to tribesmen. But we still harvest technology. You harvest the machine stuff to actually use as armor to defend ourselves. But we still haven't got any, still haven't progressed further than just grabbing a pig, putting it on a spike, and rotating it on a spit. As a conclusion to this, so I'll stop ranting on so much, is I need to play more of it to actually give more firm of an opinion. Because the first hour, at least the first 40 minutes of the game, is nothing but cutscenes and tutorial, which it does introduce a lot of information for the character and the world itself. It does give you the tools, especially within context, even though I hate the fact that you have to follow someone, and the markers are always on the screen. It makes sense within context. But afterwards, it needs more than an hour's worth of game time to actually be invested. If that makes sense. You need to actually play more to get a more firm opinion. If even by that point, you might as well continue. I'm not too sure how long this game is, or how quickly I could be able to understand why Aloy is who she is and why the world is, because that draws me more than the gameplay. Unfortunately, the gameplay is a bit too standard, but it works, and I'm kind of invested in the story. I really feel for Aloy, especially what she wants is to know who she is and where she came from. So, hard to recommend on the first hour. Horizon Zero Dawn, definitely something. This kind of makes me want to play Breath of the Wild some more.